In June of 2025, I played exactly 140 demos live on Twitch within a single week as part of Steam's Next Fest, a one-week event during which developers and publishers can promote their games by making demos available for everyone to try out. Every 4 months, I sit down on the opening day to pick out over 100 games for me to check out during the week, and then I play them all, giving each one around 30 minutes to show me what they are about. In this video, I'm going to be telling you about my 10 favorite games from that week, as well as some honorable mentions. Links to all the games can be found in the description. Let's get started with number 10. My card is better than your card. Remember being a kid on the playground and arguing over which imaginary attack was the stronger one? Or trying to continuously one-up each other with the better imaginary attack? Cause that's the spirit of my card is better than your card. Kind of. It's a deck building roguelike all about making your cards better than your opponent's cards. Gameplay is simple. At the very beginning you draw 3 cards, and at the beginning of each of your turns you draw 1 more card and gain 1 candy. You need candy to play cards. It's basically this game's version of mana. Then you get to pick between either 1 more card or 1 more candy. Play as few or many of your cards as you want and end your turn. Once both players have played their cards, the game will see who has more stars. The lower star amount gets subtracted from the higher star amount, and the leftover stars get added to the fave bar at the top of the screen. To win a match, you need to fill the fave bar, and to do that, you gotta play cards. Most card effects have to do with gaining stars, either by just giving them to you outright, or by using special effects to convert field tokens like fish or bugs into stars. These tokens also get added to the field by, you guessed it, playing cards. You might have also noticed another bar just below the fave bar. This is the fever bar. Kinda close in name, might get a little confusing, don't worry about it too much. Fill it up by consistently playing cards that will gain a multiplier that multiplies the winning star count by the shown amount before they're added to the fave bar. You also have an item on you with a special effect like a magical girl's staff that lets you draw a card if you lose fave, or a little box for bugs that will spawn a bug to the field at the beginning of your turn. And now you know how to play the card game. Let's talk about the roguelike aspect and deck building. One run lasts a week, and at the start of each day you pick your schedule. Each schedule starts with a card battle and then goes into various other activities like shops or treasure hunts, and at the end you get to customize your deck. When you win a match, you gain money and the ability to pick one of 3 stickers. Shops will let you either buy cards outright or allow you to buy specific stickers, and during a treasure hunt you're just trying to get lucky and get some good stickers for free. Now to the deck building. You modify your cards by adding or removing stickers. Each sticker has a specified effect, and you can mix and match stickers on cards however you like. There does not seem to be a limit to how many stickers you can put on a card, but every sticker adds to the cost of a card, so you really want to balance the costs and effects. But there's also candy stickers that remove 1 cost from a card, so you can create some pretty powerful combinations with just a few stickers. Also keep in mind that you are able to adjust the order effects will resolve in. You wouldn't want the remove tokens effect to activate before the added tokens effect. I really love how cute the game is. The art direction is very colorful and fun, and the stickers look fantastic. I also had a great time making fun little sticker combos like putting sunglasses on a cat. Overall, the vibes of this game are just fantastic, and if you're in the market for a fun little roguelike that lets you be a bit creative here and there, then definitely keep an eye on My Card is Better Than Your Card. Moving on to 9th place. Nova Hearts. Have you ever felt like wanting to be a cool gay superhero in some nowhere town? No? Well, get ready to become one anyway. In Nova Hearts, you play as Luz, who just moved back to her hometown Vermilion to get away from a toxic relationship. Having lived with her dad, who is a master at using emojis, she is now returning to her childhood bedroom, which was left unchanged by her mom, who, after a brief conversation about how we got here, informs us that she has already invited our old childhood friend over to cheer us up. This is also where our mom introduces us to the first of 3 apps on our phone menu, the Daily May, a news app cluing you in on all the interesting goings on all around Vermilion. Make sure to check this one frequently and thoroughly so you don't miss anything. Our cute and awesome childhood friend Will joins us in our room, and it turns out she actually brought along another person, CJ, who we didn't really know too well as a kid, but hey, what's the harm in one more cool friend? This whole beginning part of the game plays like a visual novel. We've got some exchanges over texts and some in-person conversations, both of which occasionally provide us with various options to continue the conversation in different ways, sometimes leaving positive or negative impressions on the people we are talking to. We catch up with Will and CJ a bit and immediately get invited to a party later that night. To kill some time, we end up texting our old flame Sasha, who informs us that this party we're going to be going to is actually theirs, and after another short exchange with Will over text, during which she introduces us to our second app, the Astro Link, which is apparently inspired by astrology and lets us track the status of our relationships with the various characters we meet on this journey, we find ourselves at the Breakfast Club to grab a bit of food before the party. At the Breakfast Club, we spend some time flirting with the bartender, get to know CJ a bit better, and text with Sasha one more time before meeting him at the party where he completely fumbles our advances towards him, which is kind of cute and endearing. We spend some more time hanging out with various people at the party, even securing a kiss with our shy little pretty boy Sasha, before something curious starts happening. Strange literal fur balls start appearing, and once we notice them attacking CJ, we spring into action, undergoing a sick magical girl transformation and unlocking new superpowers. Alright y'all, it's time for combat. In Nova Hearts, we're fighting using a turn-based timeline. Every action has a few important bits of information to it. 1. How many enemies or allies it hits. 2. How long it takes to prepare. 3. How much it heals and or damages. And 4. Additional bits like buffs or debuffs. All pretty obvious apart from maybe the preparation time. On your turn, you select a move and you will execute that move whenever your turn comes around again, which is after the preparation time has passed. The timeline is visible at the bottom of the screen and it will show you when in the turn order your next move will take place. Enemy turns work the same way, and you can even see their future plans on the timeline when you target them. After a simple combat tutorial, we get to save CJ and watch their cool transformation as they unlock their superpowers, becoming a cool Sentai fencer who will be acting as the tank of our team thanks to the large health pool and special skill that taunts enemies and applies invincibility to themselves. The day ends with Luz and CJ getting home safe, but neither of them knows where Will is, so they plan to look for her first thing in the morning. This is also where we learn about the final app to unlock called Power Up, letting us upgrade our combat abilities and unlock new ones as we progress the story and become stronger. Nova Hearts is a fun mix of romance visual novel and turn-based RPG. The art is amazing, especially the animated cutscenes, with the transformation sequences standing out the most. And the characters all seem very fun and interesting so far. The speed at which the combat resolves does feel somewhat slow, but this is kind of my only gripe with the game. The demo only introduced me to 5 of the dateable characters, but it seems like there are going to be a lot more in the full game, and I can't wait to meet them all. Nova Hearts is a fun and flashy genre blend that I will happily recommend to anyone who enjoys an interesting and sometimes silly queer superhero story. So make sure do not lose sight of Nova Hearts. Crash landing into 8th place, we find Star Overdrive. After watching a very cool and chill opening sequence, we receive a distress signal from what seems to be a familiar voice. We follow the signal to a planet called Sebeti, but as we try to enter this planet's atmosphere, we get hit. During our descent, we grab a cassette tape, which seems to be giving us a shield, granting us some protection from the inevitable crash landing. With our ship in shambles, we move further along the planet's surface, where we get assaulted by some very hostile flora. Thank God we got that shield. A little further down the path, we find our keytar, which is actually our sword-like weapon. And if that wasn't already cool enough, once we make it to what seems to be a dead end, our hoverboard comes to our rescue to transition us into a not too unfamiliar title card. As we look out over the landscape of this new planet, we notice some kind of tower nearby. Our hoverboard currently only functions as a jetpack, so we make good use of this new ability to close the distance to this tower we spotted nearby. As we get a move on, we already start picking up various materials scattered along the path. I did contemplate taking an alternate route here, but decided to just stick with where the game tells me to go. Though it seems like it wouldn't have made much of a difference. We get to the tower and watch a hologram message from the girl who sent the distress signal. Her name is News, and the hoverboard we have on us now is actually hers. She calls out to us by name, which appears to be Bios, cluing us in on our past relationship before telling us that she and the planet both need our help and handing us the hoverboard's gravity core. This means we now actually get to ride the hoverboard, and boy is it fun to ride. It's super fast, and while in the air you can even do tricks to build up boost for when you land. I honestly wouldn't have minded if the game was just about hoverboard exploration, but there's a lot more to this. We approach a different type of tower and run into our first batch of enemies. They're just little guys, but they're ready to mess you up. So try your best to mess them up instead by using your light and heavy attacks and dodging out of the way of their attacks to keep damage taken to a minimum. With those little creatures gone, we can start powering the tower by following the wiring from the central battery and activating each of these little generators. We also find a workbench near one of them, which we can use to craft components from the materials we find on the planet to upgrade and customize the hoverboard, which is neat. But with all generators powered, we can approach the tower and unlock the map for this region. All over the island, new things are getting activated. Boost gates are turning on and large screws are unscrewing themselves out of the ground. I wonder what that's about. Only one way to find out. We ride towards one of those giant screws, give it our power core, and take the elevator down, where we unlock a new power to grab certain large objects using some keytar magic. Just make sure you don't run out of energy. We use this new power to solve the puzzle, find a secret secret, beat up a robot, and get through this area mostly unharmed to pick up a power node which we can use to unlock a new skill from our skill tree. The skill tree seems to have 3 flavors: energy, shield, and damage, which kind of do exactly what you'd expect them to do. Improve your energy, improve your shield, improve your damage. Really could not be any simpler. It's difficult to not compare this game to Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. It obviously takes heavy inspiration from them, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with that because this new coat of paint they throw over it and the new things they added make it a very fun experience nonetheless. There seems to be a lot left to uncover on the planet and about News and BIOS' past, and I for one am extremely excited to get into it once I have the time. The exploration is fun, the combat works well, and locking the shrines behind the gravity core is a neat way to take away your ability to ride the hoverboard while you're inside. If you enjoy large-scale open-world RPGs, then I hope you're already planning on playing Star Overdrive. 7th place comes at us with Arrow Machina. We start the game by watching our character's boot sequence. We haven't quite finished, still missing the visual input, when we start to hear people talk to us. Lady and Carrot are in charge of us during this demo, and once we are able to see them, they... Hey there. They explain to us that we are in a virtual environment to test our potential. This is a demo specifically built to entice us with fast progression and endgame upgrades, and boy does it work. The first room lets you play around with the controls. Jump, dash, attack, and air dash to make your way further into the complex. Or use your cool abilities to climb on top of the several shipping containers in this room and find a cool secret that you will have to come back to later, I guess. Whatever, let's just move on. A little further in we find a save station, which we activate by hitting it with an attack. This usually implies combat is coming up, and would you look at that? Here are our very first enemies. We can lock onto one and unleash a devastating combo that takes them all out one by one before they even get a chance to act. Oh, you're trying to tell me about the enemies I just beat? No worries, I already took care of them. In the next room we find our very first proper platformer section. If we hadn't figured it out earlier, this is where the game would have taught us about grabbing ledges, which happens automatically, and as long as you're close enough to the ledge, you've got nothing to worry about. The way ahead is blocked by a locked door, so we gotta find a key card. And looking further ahead, we can see another path leading to said key card to our right and around the room. Once that's taken care of, the next room introduces us to our first real threat. A bright blue liquid. Landing in it will mean we lose some health, but that probably won't happen. Oh, well, it probably won't happen twice, right? Well, 3rd time's the charm, you know? Damn it! Well, I certainly wouldn't fail this a 4th time. Fuck! Okay, before I waste all of my time and health on this one jump, let's backtrack a bit to see if we missed something. This is also where I found out those green orbs that enemies drop actually refill my health, so I guess you could say that all of this was educational. And after walking in a bit of a circle and trying one more time, turns out I just suck and it's totally possible to clear that gap. I'm not gonna walk you through the whole demo, but this is basically the gist. There's a bunch of enemies, obstacles, and platformer puzzles to solve here and there, and it feels fantastic. There's upgrades as well that we end up picking up, like the Varia wings, which let us glide for an extended period of time, the gear greaves, which give us a knock-up kick for our ground combo, as well as the ground pound while in the air, and the rotary blade, which lets us double jump and also gives us a slight boost to our damage. This game has so much to offer, it's kind of mind-blowing. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if this game blows up and becomes the new hot Metroidvania everyone is playing, because it certainly deserves it. The platforming is fun and well put together, the combat feels great, it gets very engaging with larger enemy variety, and the graphics are fantastically nostalgic. There's even a pixelation setting that you can crank to the max or disable entirely if you feel like it. I cannot speak more highly of this game. It's seriously so fun, and I'm excited to see how all of this comes together once the full game releases. The demo is still available and it has a lot more to discover than I showed you here, so if this piqued your interest, definitely go check it out. You do not want to miss out on Arrow Machina. Checking out 6th place, we find Absalom. This beautifully hand-drawn fantasy game with an incredibly sick opening animation is an amazing side-scroller beat-em-up roguelike with super tight and satisfying combos. Taking place in a world where magic was outlawed, causing literal witch hunts after a devastating disaster struck the world due to the magician's desire for more knowledge, the few remaining wizards are trying to stand up to the tyrannical reign of Azra, who's planning to rule over the world. Starting the game, we get to pick between 2 characters, Galandra, the sword-wielding elf, and Carl, the dwarf with a gun, before being sent into the tutorial where we learn how to dash, jump, strike, pick up, throw, combo, deflect, deflect and use our skill after building up enough mana. Making it further up the path, we see our comrades blow up a bridge in the distance, on top of which we can see one of Azra's caravans. We close the gap and approach one of the wagons, freeing a key figure to our cause who our characters only refer to as Mother. Once Mother is freed, she grants us a choice between two upgrades, a burn effect on our deflect or a burn effect on our attacks. Oh yeah, now we're rogueliking. Mother makes it out alive and we fight a couple more waves of enemies before being overwhelmed by what seems to be a higher ranking soldier of Azra's army. That's okay though, dying only gets us back to the main hub thanks to Mother's ability to revive us. Here we can swap characters, practice combos, take on combat tutorials, and later on upgrade our characters to unlock various skills to equip before starting a new run. I also found out that swapping between Galandra's first two skills will make her ascend indefinitely, letting you make her disappear. It even lowers the volume of the sound effects the higher you go. Anyway, talking about new runs, before you start you can also decide to play with another player. You can either enter matchmaking and meet a random person also trying to play co-op, or you can join or create an online game to meet up with a friend or just pick your own random person to play with. Coming together in online play automatically loads you into the file with the least story progression as to not spoil anything for the player that hasn't gotten as far yet. But all personal character stats as well as new unlocks from playing in an online session stay with you when loading in and out of online play regardless of whether you're the one further behind or not. At the start of a run, you once again get to choose an upgrade before moving through various rooms, defeating waves of enemies to gain rewards like money, healing, meta currencies, items, more upgrades, and even new passive effects from defeating bosses, like increasing your damage and move speed after defeating an enemy or extending your combo. After defeating a boss, you will also get access to a new safe area where you will receive a free item and have access to some healing, a hireling, and a shop to spend your hard-earned money at. In this first safe area, you will also run into Cider, who I believe will be an unlockable playable character later on. From here you kind of just keep going, exploring more areas, fighting more enemies, and gaining more resources until you die again to get sent back to the hub to do it all over again. We truly love to see it. Absalom is such an awesome and fun game. The art and animations are absolutely amazing. The gameplay feels tough but fun and fair. The characters are cool and interesting. And did I mention that it's fully voice acted?
It's good you managed to free the big lady. You did better than any of us.
The game oozes style and charm, and you can really feel how much care the devs have put into the game to make it as good as it is. If beat 'em ups are your thing, or you're an enjoyer of roguelikes like myself, then I highly recommend trying out Absalom. Entering the top half of the list in 5th place, let me tell you about Wander Stars. Hey, you! Do you like anime? Especially shonen anime? Like, I don't know, fucking Dragon Ball? Cause if you do, then you really don't want to miss this game. I promise. Wander Stars is a turn-based RPG inspired by classic shonen anime, evident by its over-the-top presentation, traditional tournament arc setup, and that nostalgic 90s anime art style. The combat in this game is incredibly unique as well. Instead of choosing from specific actions with predetermined effects, you create your own moves by combining words that all have different properties, truly putting your creativity front and center. While at first you are fairly limited when it comes to the words in your arsenal, you can still create moves like Fire Special Block or Fast Super Extra Kick, which are both a grammatical nightmare, but hey, they work. Using a word will also put them on a cooldown, the length of which is different for each word, so you don't spam the same move over and over again. Some enemies will also either resist or be weak to certain types of words, and if you manage to hit an enemy with their weakness, you get spirit points, SP for short, which you can spend to access an additional word slot during combat to create even stronger moves. Playing through the story, also referred to as an episode, takes you across various boards, the goal of which is to always reach one of the endpoints to continue, which you can do by either going straight for one of them or by exploring the whole board to see what you might find on each space. Most of the spaces are empty and all they do is lower the cooldown on your words, but some of them will contain battles, special events, random items, or even new words. If you gain new words, you can equip them in your words menu. The menu is split into actions, elements, and modifiers, and each of them has a separate limit of allowed number of words for you to have active at any given time, so if you have more words than open slots, you gotta leave the extras out of your deck. There is another way to gain words, and that is by equipping pep-ups. Pep-ups are like companions. If you beat an opponent within an inch of their life, quite literally actually, they have this HP range next to their health bar, and if you get their HP within that range, they will give up and ask for peace. Accepting their peace offering will then add them to your pep-up roster, and once equipped, they will give you a passive effect or another action to add to your deck. But it seems like most of the time time, it'll be both. Reaching the end point of a map will reward you with a permanent upgrade for the rest of the episode, so take your time and think about which enhancement you'd rather gain. There are a few to choose from, like upgrading your HP or possible SP, unlocking more slots in combat, upgrading the limit of your action, modifier, or element words you're able to take into battle, or increasing your pep-up slots. So with all that in mind, explore the boards, fight some guys, gain new friends, secure some new words and upgrades, and become as strong as possible. Kind of like a roguelike, huh? The story seems fairly simple. Your name is Ringo and you're being raised by your grandmother, hoping to one day become the greatest Ki fighter. Ki being the martial art practiced throughout the game, the whole word combat thing is genuinely part of the universe. At some point early on during the story, you come across this wolf guy who tells you about some kind of map that he's after and has currently led him to you. I don't know much else about what's going on, but I'm very excited to find out. Wonder Stars is truly a marvelous experience. With a fresh, new, and fun take on turn-based combat and a super nostalgic art style with writing to match the vibes, it impresses on so many levels. My one gripe with this game is that once a word is selected in combat, you kind of can't remove it without removing every other word as well. Like, I just want to create nice special moves that sound good without having to awkwardly rebuild the whole thing every time I make a small mistake. But other than this minor annoyance, the game really feels like it could be a masterpiece. So what are you waiting for? It's time to live out your wildest power fantasies in Wonder Stars. In 4th place, we encounter Herdling. We wake up in an underpass. Things aren't looking great. Everything around us looks run down and deteriorated. There's a car flipped on its side, and after walking around a bit, we end up at what seems to be a small park where a large creature is running around with some kind of bucket covering its face. We remove the bucket and get to tame it, finding out this creature is referred to as a calicorn and naming it Ronathan. From this point on, we'll be guiding Ronathan through the city with a simple input that makes him move away from us. It does look like he will also just follow us if left alone, but guiding him is faster, and by double clicking the right mouse button, we can make him stop as well. We keep moving along until we get to a fence gate that has another smaller calicorn behind it. Exploring the surrounding area will lead us to a third calicorn, also on the smaller side, which we tame and name Jimothy. We leave Ronathan and Jimothy behind for a second to climb around and into the fenced off area, letting Ronathan and Jimothy enter and taming our third creature called Kenjamin. Together with our new friends, we are able to move a shipping container out of the way, letting us explore more of this honestly quite sad environment. Our friends also seem to be quite taken by a mural we came across. There's some weird magic shit that happens and makes the mural look nicer before I figure out that you can actually pet these creatures, which immediately makes this a 10 out of 10 game, to be honest. Trying to not get any more distracted than we already are, we follow along the road until we finally make it out of the city and into nature. And with that, suddenly the whole vibe shifts. We are now free to explore this beautiful open world together with our wonderful creatures. We also walk through these blue flowers, which fill some kind of charge that lets us stampede, making us move faster. All of this feels incredible. Like, I'm gonna be honest, there isn't a lot going on here, but what is going on is just so nice. The creatures are very endearing, the environment once you get out into nature is beautiful, and the music is a vibe. I very quickly fell in love with this game, and I'm very much looking forward to exploring the world of herdling and taming even more beautiful creatures. I don't know what awaits me, but I'm eager to find out. I know this isn't going to be a game for everyone, but I feel like the people who will enjoy this are going to be enjoying this a lot. So if you're one of those people, you should absolutely go and play Herdling. Now, before we start talking about the top 3 games on this list, it's tradition for me to first tell you about my honorable mentions, which are 10 more games that didn't quite make it into the top 10 but still deserve a shout out due to how interesting, creative, or surprisingly fun they were to me. I won't be going into too much detail for any of them, so make sure to check them out yourself if one or more of them catch your eye. Alright, this is gonna go by quickly, so pay attention. Here we go. Kuro Niku is a cute game in which you manage your own ramen shop and compete in intense 1v1 cooking competitions against a variety of interesting characters who will become your friends and rivals. And Roger is an at times dark visual novel about a young girl dealing with confusion and maybe also memory loss, which is emphasized in the gameplay by the controls not always being what you expect. Gecko Gods is an adorable puzzle platformer exploration game in which you're controlling a gecko trying to uncover the secrets of a lost civilization in a large open world. Bits and Bobs is a large collection of wonderful and charming rhythm minigames accompanied by beautiful artwork. The gameplay might be simple, but the patterns can get quite challenging. Knob looks simple, but it's a genuinely fun and engaging 3D platformer. It might not be very visually impressive, but trust me, me when I say that the gameplay more than makes up for it. Soul Nexus is a text-based adventure game about Glip, who has been stuck in these strange halls for their whole life. Explore curious environments and solve puzzles as Glip is finally making a break for freedom. Dracobar is a cute and colorful action-adventure 3D platformer that is perfect for beginners and newcomers to the genre. Save a race of adorable critters called Oki and rebuild bridges to reconnect the various islands of this world. Worn Out is an unsettling visual novel about an unknown presence putting you through a waking nightmare to uncover the truth about the past you've been trying to bury deep underground. Crescent County is a witchy life sim on a moon-shaped island. Customize your motorized broom to do odd jobs for the island's locals or race your friends while just trying to make the most of your new life. Akko the Exiled is an amazing side-scrolling 2D platformer with incredible depth to both its combat and movement systems. Learn to use Akko's full potential to defeat the Demon Lord and usher in a new era for the land of demons. Just because these games didn't make it into the top 10 doesn't mean they don't deserve your attention, so again, please go look at these games yourself because these super short bits do not do them justice. The links to all the games as well as my VODs channel in case you'd like to watch my full experience with them are in the description below. But now it's finally time to take a look at the top 3 demos of the week, starting with 3rd place, Dispatch. Holy fucking shit, man, this game fucking rules. Dispatch is a world filled to the brim with superheroes and super criminals with professional infrastructure built around managing both as easily as possible. We're gonna be spending some time at the Superhero Dispatch Network, SDN for short, where dispatchers take calls and send out their assigned superheroes to handle various situations. Our main character Robert is an ex-superhero who is just starting his first day, having been recruited after his mech suit got destroyed during his last battle. But we're gonna have our hands full with this new job because our team of superheroes is actually a group of criminals on probation. Sonar the bad guy, Flambe the hothead, Invisigal the invisible girl, Coupe the bird-themed mercenary, Punch Up the tiniest strongman, Malevola my wife, Malevola the teleporting demoness, Golem the golem, and Prism the living light show. All of them are part of something called the Phoenix Program, a group of criminals who sign up to help people for a chance at redemption or to get out of jail. We're not entirely sure yet, but it's probably the latter, to be honest. There are some people here to support us at the SDN though. Right at the start, Blonde Blazer is giving us a tour of the facilities and tells us a bit about some of the people working here. We meet Chase, who turns out to be a retired superhero called Trackstar, who we have a pre-existing relationship with, though we do learn that his superpower of super speed also made him super age. And we also meet our new best friend Roy while taking a bathroom break. Roy is a super chill dude who gets called Royd by everyone else because there's like 3 other guys named Roy, and also probably because he looks roided out of his gourd. It's not a very nice nickname, so I'm gonna keep calling him Roy. I like Roy, but he really has to start washing his hands. Anyway, we sit down at our desk and officially start our first day. We greet our team. We greet our team. We greet our team.
Can we clear the channel, please? There's a lot of overlapping on this.
The gameplay is honestly pretty simple. We're gonna call for a job to rescue a child's balloon from a tree. Very high profile stuff over here, but we do have to take this seriously, so let's look for someone who could do this job efficiently and without scaring the child. All of our heroes have different stats. The 5 attributes are combat, vigor, mobility, charisma, and intellect. So for this job, we might want to consider someone with decent mobility and a good amount of charisma, so I guess let's send the Bat Monster. That's gonna go over well, right? While Sonar is on the way, the calls keep coming in, so now we gotta send someone to a ribbon cutting ceremony, and who better to go than the charming Prism. Once the job is done, we can check in on how things went. Here we once again see the stat window with a certain area mapped out in white. Our hero stats will get overlaid on top of it in orange, and to determine whether they failed or succeeded, a point will bounce around the white area, and if it lands somewhere that overlaps the orange, then that's a success. Good job, Sonar. Now we just gotta wait for him to return. Here we also learn about Sonar's passive ability that makes it so he transforms between his monster and human forms between jobs, which swaps some of his stats around. All of our heroes have unique passives, so it's a good idea to familiarize ourselves with their abilities if you want to keep succeeding at this job. Dispatching heroes isn't the only thing we do though. Sometimes we get calls like this rogue bidet that we need to hack into to fix it. Let's not ask any more questions and just do our job. This is a little puzzle maze section where we gotta activate and deactivate various paths by hitting the directional keys in displayed order before the timer runs out. Prism is also done with her job, and it seems like that one also went over well. Some jobs require multiple heroes to be sent out, in which case their stats get added together. Here we get introduced to disruptions, which means we get to intervene. We choose one out of the 3 options, with a 4th being locked behind a specific hero. Make the correct choice corresponding to the correct stat, or just choose the hero specific option, and you succeed. Make the wrong choice and you fail, and failure results in injuries. Sorry, Sonar. When heroes complete jobs, they gain experience, and when they have earned enough experience, they gain a stat point to upgrade one of their stats. Sonar should really be more mobile. Anyway, the demo isn't all too long, yet I am really struggling keeping this section relatively concise. There's just so much to talk about, and it's all so awesome. Like, did you know that this game was made by Ad Hoc Studios, which includes some ex-Telltale developers? Helldiver's? Did you know that? Because you should know that. Did you know that Aaron Paul is in this? Or Moist Critical? Or Jacksepticeye? This game is genuinely so incredible, and I can't wait to get absolutely lost in this world and experience everything this game has to offer. I don't think I'm ready for the full scope of what this game has to offer, and I don't think you are either. You really shouldn't miss out on this patch. Up ahead in second place, we find Rekindled Trails. The game starts off by having us sell our soul. Hold on, that can't be right. Is there really nothing that happens before that? Huh. I guess not. Alright then, we start off by selling our soul. Don't really have a choice here, but right after we get thrown into a character creator where we will be bound to spend the next 2 hours, as is tradition. Except I only have 30 minutes, so let's speed through this. The customization isn't very deep. We get to pick our name, our general physical appearance, and our colors. For appearance, we can choose between 3 races: cats, fish, and goats. And they all have a few individual levels of customization as well as accessories. For colors, we choose 2 different patterns and then apply a color palette and choose an eye color, and boom, that's our character. Now we can play the game, or rather the tutorial. We follow the fire to the first chest. Here we get gloves to pull roots from the ground by walking away from them in the highlighted direction. With the first root pulled out, we get our inventory. This is the meat of the game, as it heavily focuses on managing your inventory. It also tells us about the various categories of items we will encounter throughout the game, those being roots, fish, ore, and fruits. We approach a shrine that wants us to fill its 3 tiles with root items, and the root item we just picked up conveniently fits perfectly into this shrine to sacrifice it. So we do just that and move on. With options to move left and right, we initially go right to grab a pickaxe and learn how to break open the rock to get ore, which we also sacrifice to a different shrine. After which we go left to get a fishing rod, which we use to catch the fish. Do not think about the existential implications of a fish using a fishing rod to catch fish. It's okay, don't think about it, don't think about it, don't! And we once again sacrifice that fish to an altar, which unlocks the itempedia and opens the big gate in front of us. Going north through the gate, we find a large structure called the Heart, and an entity called the Flame starts talking to us, telling us how it used to protect these lands before we fucked it all up, so now we need to set things right again. And so we do just that. In Rekindled Trails, we explore various areas to collect a variety of items to fit into our inventory before we sell it all at shops and towns located all over the map. Selling items is also a fun little inventory management puzzle, by the way. You choose one of 3 layouts, their sizes are always visible in the bottom right, and then you fill it up with items. Every town will have 1 high demand category that will give you extra money if you place a matching item on that slot, and 2 low demand categories that will completely negate anything you would gain from the item if it matches, so always pay attention. You also get more money if you manage to fill a higher percentage, so try to leave no boxes empty. The gameplay loop consists of collecting, and then selling. Shops will also ask for specific items from specific regions, and when you sell those items to those shops, you can use your money to upgrade the town, which I wasn't able to achieve while I played it on stream, but it's worth it and actually required for progression. Yes, we don't just abandon the story after getting let loose. There is a story, and it's kind of always there and deeply connected to the gameplay loop. So in most cases, you will actually make progress by just playing more of the game. Rekindled Trails is actually a game I've played quite a bit between June and now. I put a stupid amount of hours into the demo and then finished the full game, and it's honestly so fun. It has so much more to offer than what I experienced during my 40 minutes. Like seriously, those 40 minutes showed barely anything, and it still made second place. So I seriously recommend you try this game yourselves. If an adventure game with a focus on inventory management sounds like it would be fun to you, then do yourself a favor and play Rekindled Trails. Now it's finally time. All eyes are on first place as the spotlight shines down on Dead as Disco. Fuck man, like shit dude, I'm just gonna let this play because I don't think I could sell you on this any better than the game and my initial reaction can. I guess this is like... I guess this is kind of like Uncharted for Maniac. Which is awesome. Oh my fucking god, holy shit. Alright y'all, what we have here is a rhythm beat 'em up with a selection of absolute bangers, including a custom cover of classic and beloved Michael Sembello's song Maniac that absolutely rips. The combat feels incredible, consisting of basic attacks that you can also hold for a heavy variant, counters, dodges, finishers, takedowns, poses, and stuff we call the Fever Rush. That makes you use your fever bar below your health bar in the top left corner so you can rush down enemies. If a takedown is available, there's a skull icon that shows up below your health and fever bars, and on the right side of the screen you have your score, multiplier, combo, and the points for every individual real action. And way in the bottom right, you can see the name of the song that's playing as well as its length. But yeah, when it comes to gameplay, you just kind of beat people up to the beat while you're trying not to get beat up yourself. It's incredible. The game features a story mode, part of which I played at the beginning of the section, which features a bunch of expertly charted songs that are super fun to fight along to, as well as a free play mode called Infinite Disco. In Infinite Disco, you can select any song available in the game to play and perfect your combo to get the highest score possible. That's not all, because you can also import your own songs, which blew my fucking mind when I saw this. When you import a song, you can either set the BPM yourself or calibrate it by clicking your left mouse button to the beat. Just hope you're accurate. This is the coolest part about the game, to be honest. Once again, I'm just gonna let a bit of this play because of how cool it is. This is awesome. Holy fuck. Shout out to my guy James G, aka James Makes Music on YouTube, for making fire tracks like Square One, the track I use here, letting me use his music in my streams and videos, and just generally being a really cool and chill guy. That as Disco is mind-blowingly phenomenal and immeasurably fun. If this didn't convince you, then there's a bunch of videos on YouTube of people playing through all kinds of different songs better than I ever could, so I highly recommend checking out some of those as well. Also, the game has something called BB mode, which makes the player character's butt larger, so I assume BB stands for big butt. When I played this game, I kind of knew immediately that it would end up at the top of the list. It was just so incredibly impressive. The impression it left was just incomparable to any other game I played that week. The demo is still up on Steam, so go try it yourself and import your favorite songs to beat up bad guys too if you're still not convinced. This game is rad as hell and definitely deserves attention, and I hope that at this point you can agree with me, so make sure you don't miss the party when Dead as Disco finally releases. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and have found at least 1 or 2 new games that piqued your interest, because while I do believe that all of these deserve a lot more attention, I understand that people have different tastes and some people simply won't like some of these games. Maybe you have a friend who might like a game that you wouldn't, so go ahead and tell them about the game. And maybe tell them about the video too if you feel like it. I don't know, I think that would be pretty cool of you. All of the footage of the games shown here was streamed live on Twitch, and the full streams are still available on my VODs channel. The upcoming Next Fest starts today on October 13th, and I encourage you all to take a peek and play a few demos yourselves, because there are always so many more games I'm unable to show in these videos, or even play at all, and participating is the best way to find out about games that you enjoy. Additionally, I will once again be going live starting tomorrow on the 14th, with the goal of playing through over 100 demos, with the next top 10 video coming in another 4 months, ahead of the February 2026 Next Fest. So if you would like to be a part of that journey going forward, feel free to subscribe, check out my description to follow me on Twitch, and maybe even follow me on Blue Sky as well. Again, thank you so much for watching and sticking around to the end. I hope you had a good time, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye!